So let's go over some stuff before I get into starting this day off, because it's already hot. Now, all the videos I've made up until this point, I have purposely did it from angles that don't allow you to really see the truck. I think maybe you could have got a glimpse of some stuff when I did the interior video, but I tried to make sure you couldn't. So let's start with the wheels. They're not factory wheels anymore. I done replaced them. I've been trying to sell them 14-inch wheels that came on this thing for probably about 2 months now. I'm gonna retake some photos and post them up on Facebook tonight. Maybe I can get rid of them, who knows. But as it sits right now, and what's mounted on it currently, and what I plan to drive around on, not race, but just drive around on, it's 2006 Corvette wheels. Now they're just the factory Corvette wheels, nothing fancy about them. I think it looks really clean. I love the finish that they have. It requires me to run 2.5-inch spacers on the front, and that's fine. The rear wheel's bolted directly up to the rear end that I have in there, which we'll talk about in a second. So 2.5-inch spacers on the front, normal in the back, and they stick out. What I got to figure out right now is the wheels, the rear end kind of seems like it shifted a little bit to the passenger side, and I don't really know what I'm gonna do about that yet, or maybe I need to just speak to somebody. But that's where we're at right now. So normal Corvette wheels are on it as we speak. The wheels I have that I'm gonna autocross with are also Corvette wheels, same year. They're just Z06s. So that means it's an inch wider in the front and 2 inches wider in the rear. So the wheels that are on, or the tires that are on it now, are 245s in the front and 285s in the rear. With the Z06 tires, I'll be running 275s in the front and 325s in the rear. Yeah, hopefully that helps me get some traction on the butt of this thing. So that's my wheels, that's where I'm running. Now the reason I don't have any spacers or nothing like that on the rear end is because the rear end that's in it is out of a ZR2 Blazer. So it's 8 inches wider than what it normally came with factory with that fleet model, which was a 7.5 non-posi 373 rear end. So now I have 8.5 Gov Bomb 373 rear end in it. But I have disc brakes on the rear now as well, because that 2000 Blazer had rear disc. So that's an upgrade. Upgraded brakes, wider rear end, and posi, and hopefully going from a 7.5 to an 8.5 pumpkin, it will last longer. I know I called it a Gov Bomb for a reason, that G80. So we'll see. Got a good bit of money tied up in that rear end, but hopefully it was worth it. I love the way it sits right now with the factory Corvette wheels on it. Now when I bought the truck, they had a guy on Facebook that was making some fiberglass fender flares, but I really wanted the plastic fender flares that came on them. I searched and I searched and I searched. I bought the truck, I believe, around October, November. Discovered that they had plastic fender flares probably around January, and I've been searching for them ever since. It is June. Okay, so 6 months of eBaying every U-pull yard around here. I found 2 separate S10s and tried to buy both of them just to take the fender flares off and put them back on Facebook Marketplace to sell. Okay, and let me tell you how much trouble I'd have been in if I'd have done that with the wife. Not good. But I finally found a set. The beginning of June on Facebook. Bought them, got them shipped. It was like $200 after shipping. I know it's a lot, but I really, really wanted them. I love the look. It was worth every penny to me because I'm trying to keep everything I can factory. The only thing that's obviously not factory is this LS2 and these Corvette wheels. But everything else I have got came on an S10. Whether it be first gen, second gen, or out of the Blazers, it's S10. So wheels and motor, only thing. 4L60 came with an S10, all that. So that's where I'm at on that. And I know that seems kind of funny because I'm putting a different motor in it and I'm running aftermarket wheels, but everything else is 100% S10. Since we're talking about the rear end, I got... Oh no, we was talking about the fender flares. Why I wanted them so bad. Paid the money, and would you know, it's been 4 days now. I went to my local U-Pull yard off in Baton Rouge, and I'm just walking around because the center console I got didn't have the plastic inserts for the cups or up in the front. So that's what I was really, only the reason I was there was for that. And then hopefully maybe a shifter boot, but I knew that was out of the question. Well, I ended up finding the plastic cup insert. I had to order the plastic insert for the front, and then I ordered a new knob to go on the top of the shifter because the one that I had, I couldn't do nothing with it. Still haven't found a shifter boot. But would you know, as I walk around, I look over in the bed of a pickup truck, and there is all 4 fender flares just sitting in the truck. Sitting in them. I didn't use no tools, nothing, just laid out like heaven. So I got all 4. Now I got 2 sets of these fender flares. I wish I paid the same for the first set as I did the second. So I got that cup insert and all 4 fender flares, $23. This is why my hair is going gray. That's what I'm blaming it on anyway. But so that's that. The rear end came out of a Blazer from up north, shipped down here. Oh my goodness, y'all. I know that you northerners need undercoating, but I feel like this was on a different level. I wire wheeled and wire wheeled and wire wheeled trying to get that crap off of there, just to clean the axle and pumpkin up so that I could put some rust remover on there, wash that off, prime and paint it black. I'm going to try to get a good video of it, but everything I'm going to get a video of underneath the truck right now is going to be horrible because that 2.5 leaked oil like a sieve and everything is coated. That's why I'm going to pressure wash it. But I did all that. Now, suspension wise, at another U-Pull it way out towards Hammond, they had a Blazer Extreme. So I got the rear sway bar off of it. I ain't figured out how to make that work yet because it was a Blazer. It mounted differently, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I got everything I need off there. The front sway bar off of it and the front springs. Now I have the front sway bar, front swing springs installed, and I even took the leaf springs off of it because it had more of them in there, but they're shorter. So I made it work. I might have to abandon those leaf springs and just get a lowering kit leaf spring, but I want to stick with it because one, they were made for a vehicle that's heavier, so I think that wheel hop might not be so bad because it did not have that third shock on it like I know the pickup trucks came with, and I'm thinking maybe because of the way the springs were. Time will tell. I don't know. So I got to figure the rear sway bar out still. That's the only thing I got left to put on there from the Blazer Extreme. I got the front brakes off of it. and the arm, so that I'll have the dual piston brake calipers and all that. I have not put that on because when I bought the S10, I put brand new rotors, brand new brake calipers, brake pads and everything. I mean, they're brand new. They got maybe 3,500 miles on them, you know. I'm gonna drive around it with those until they're done, unless it's just killing me at the track, and then I'll put the new brakes on. But I want to get my money's worth out of them rotors and brakes that are on it, just so I'm not wasting that. So suspension wise, putting that on there out of that Extreme, it was supposed to lower it, but it lifted the front end up 1/2 inch, and it was 0 change on the rear. Now, with the original wore out suspension that came on the truck, my rear end was off 1/2 inch. Now it's level, so that works out. So I'm level on the front, on the rear now, and then the front lifted up 1/2 inch. Now I don't know if that's because the 4.3 that was in the Blazer was so much heavier than the 2.5, but I think it's really only like a 75-pound difference between the 4-cylinder and the V6. So hopefully when I get the V8 back in there, it pulls the front end down, because I can't have a squatted truck, all right? And if you have a squatted truck, unfriend me. Don't watch any more of my videos. Don't comment, nothing. Just fade away like a dodo bird, please. So yeah, I got a lot of work to do. Like I said, I'm gonna try to get the bed off, the factory tank dropped, cross member swapped out, wire wheel and prime the bottom of the bed to stop the rust the best I can. I might have to go get more self-etching primer, and pressure wash and pressure wash and pressure wash. Wish me luck. Alright, y'all, we're gonna do this walk around like I said we was. So these are the wheels I got. I'm rocking. And these are the fender flares. Now they were pretty rough shapes. I cleaned them up. I spray painted them the same color as the rear bumper that I'm going to try to put on here, so that my bumpers and these fender flares, my front grille and all that will match. I'm going to probably try to paint these to get them roughly everything that's painted black. I want to be the same shade of black. I know that's kind of bougie, but that's where I am. But I love these stupid fender flares. I love them. They're not crazy wide or nothing, but they did good when they came out with these things. Alright. You see, came with disc brakes. I ain't drove it in a while, so they all rusty up, because it's, you know, you get 1,000% humidity here in Louisiana. Oh, bear with me while old ass gets underneath here. So this is the rear end, 8.8, cleaned it up, painted it, got it all in there. And since this part sticks out a good bit more, I think it sticks out about 1/2 inch further forward than the 7.5. So I've already had to shorten my drive shaft once to where I could drive around. But putting this axle in and having them rear brakes, man, disc brakes on the rear end of a pickup truck, I didn't think it would make that big a deal, but it is a game changer under here. Now, as we talked about with these leaf springs, the factory leaf spring that came in it only had it had 3 of them just like this. They were nowhere near as thick. It didn't have this solid piece here. And the factory axle didn't have this front boot, which I think is where the bump stop went. But I'm hoping that maybe that'll help provide wheel hop, save me on the wheel hop. Now, I told y'all that it was shorter. So now my rear hanger is a little bit forward, but it's in there. It's in there. So while I'm under here, I gotta get that whole piece out so I can get the gas tank put in right here. So that needs to come out. Gotta drop the actual gas tank so I can put it back there. That nasty, nasty cross member I gotta get out and get unbolted. I'll probably drop the muffler once I get the bed off. And then yeah, I gotta figure out how to unbolt this bed. I know it doesn't look like it's really that rusted, but all of the pinholes I have are from bottom up. And that's really weird to me, but we'll figure it out. Stick with me.